there, Board Game Maniacs, and thank you for joining me for another episode of Painting with a Maniac. What we're painting today is going to be the Hungry Wargs, and it is from the Lord of the Rings Journeys in Middle-earth by Fantasy Flight Games. Now, if you've been following along Painting with a Maniac, I probably have some tutorials up already depicting me painting different characters, different miniatures from this game set. So we're just continuing on, and we're going to be painting the Hungry Wargs with this. Now, you also notice too as well that they're already primed in black and zenithal highlight of a white. Now, when I say, what I mean by that is I coated the entire miniature in black, and then at a roughly 45-degree angle with a white rattle can spray paint, I sprayed downward to kind of give this kind of look onto it. So if we do decide to do like some wanting these highlights to pop out more, we're going to water down our paint, put it onto it so that the white and the black will show through to cut down on the steps for doing highlights and contours. You can see behind me I have two other ones because you get three of them in the core box, and I painted two of them already in different color schemes. So let's take a look at that first, and then we'll go on from there. You can see here, this is one that I've painted with like a flat brown and then dark brown, and his tongue and teeth and his base. I really like the way the base has turned out, really cool. I just want to give a quick shout out for the way I painted these. I somewhat followed painting tutorials on YouTube by Srestero's Painting. So check them out too as well. He does the whole series of this, and he's by far a way more skilled painter than what I am. And again, these are just going to do tabletop. I'm not trying to win awards or anything else towards them lines. I just want to get them painted as fast as possible so I can put them on the table to start playing the game. So be aware of that. So there's this one here, and I also did one into like a blackish gray color scheme too as well. I originally was thinking that I was going to take the one that I did the zenithal highlights on and just kind of go with that and just do a wash, because I liked the way that looked. And again, it's a good contrast compared to this darker one and the brown one too as well. I was thinking maybe I'll do that, but if I did that, it's not going to make as an interesting Painting with a Maniac episode. So I'm choosing to paint him with like a lighter skin tone as opposed to the brown one, but his fur is going to stay dark just for contrast reasons and so on. So this is what we're going to do. But the first step we're going to do is we're going to do some dry brushing onto all of the miniature on a downward stroke, and we're going to be using Pixelati White for that. I have the Pixelati White. It's a dry from Citadel, you can see here. Now, you probably noticed some other Painting with Maniac episodes, I don't stick to just Citadel paint, because I've been asked like what kind of paints I use when I'm doing my Painting with the Maniac, or even when I'm just in general painting my miniatures. And I do a wide variety. I'll use Citadel, I use Minotaur, I use like Badger, which is again Vallejo, which is like Minotaur. And yeah, again, I even use as much as like just the cheap craft paint sometimes too as well. So just be aware of that. I'm always switching between paint, and I don't have a preferred type of paint to use yet, but I kind of do and I don't. But anyhow, we're going to continue on. So I've got my dry brush out, and we're going to dry brush first. So again, I'm only going on a downward stroking angle like this. I'm not going up and down. I just want to grab the highlights of all the stuff of the miniature that is protruding outward, as you can see there. And this is, again, if I decide to really water down the paint, then these highlights will definitely be showing through on the miniature. So you can see a difference there. It does bring it out a lot by doing this highlighting step. Now I'll get the other side too as well. Just like so. So once I'm done highlighting this, I'll be back and we'll be on to doing the base coat of the skin color, or the lighter fur color instead. That's what I meant. Yeah, the fur color, not the skin color. All right, since the dry brush is all done, we are going to start with the first base color, and it's going to be the shorter fur on the sides, not the long. And we are going to be using the Vallejo green brown. I really like this color, and again, when we're painting the fur where it's going to be a darker brown color, it's going to be a nice contrast. So we're going to do it with that, and what I'm doing is adding water, probably like 2 parts paint to 3 parts water, because I am wanting this to keep it kind of watered down so that the highlights will end up showing through somewhat when the paint dries into this miniature. And it's, you know, it's pretty straightforward. All I'm doing is I'm painting all of the short fur. Now he has fur on his legs too as well, the longer fur, and his feet. So we're just kind of painting around that. And underneath his tail. And sorry there, puppy dog, but you know, gotta paint you there. You know, it's your private parts, you know, anybody touching you there, but we gotta make it complete. Sorry. I'm trying to respect your privacy, but you know, you don't want the other hungry wogs to be laughing at you because you were not painted completely. You're missing some things, so you know, I'm thinking of your feelings in the long run, so just be aware of that. Okay there, hungry wog? Yeah, just, oh, sorry. Hey, just behave yourself. Jeez Louise. All right, so again, pretty simple. Sorry for you having to witness me talking to the hungry wog there to convince him to let me paint him in certain parts, but just the way it is. See, same thing. He's okay with it now, though. He understands that I'm not trying to do anything illegal. I'm just painting him to make him complete. I really like this color, and I'm hoping it's going to really make him stand out. Remember, he has like the long fur onto his feet, but we are not going to do that with this. We're going to paint the long fur with the darker color. Excuse me, didn't mean to cough in the microphone. But anyhow, sorry about that. But what I'm doing too as well, which I didn't cover, well, I did in other videos, but aside from just rattle canning like the 2 different colors for the zenithal highlights, another thing that I did is I put some cork. So this is just chunks of cork cut up, super glued to the base before I did any of the highlights onto it, so you're aware of that. I cover that in the other videos, but if this is the first video you're watching, just be aware that that's what that is. It's just cork cut up to resemble rocks that we're going to be painting. Pretty easy. Okay, so you can see the highlights is showing through a bit. You can go over it with more if you don't want the highlights. You just make it thicker instead of watered down. So we're going to leave this dry. And when we come back, we're going to actually... I totally forgot about one other part before we cut the camera here, and that is his face. You need the, you know, the wog needs his face and ears painted too as well. So just gently going over there. Sorry there, Mr. Woggy. You'll be complete, I promise. When we are finished with you, you'll be complete. You can run in the pasture with all of your two other friends and go and attack some elves and humans and anything else that your little woggy heart desires. It's no problem. I have no problem with that. You go ahead and do what you want, but when we're playing the game, don't come attacking my miniature. That's all I ask. Just be mindful, be polite, and let me win. But you can't attack Brady, though. And Brady's miniatures, no problem. I have no problem with that. The only thing is if we need the 2 miniatures to survive to win that mission or whatever when we're going to play, then don't attack him. But if we don't need that, then by all means you can attack and, you know, do whatever you want to Brady's miniatures, because he would do the same to me. Brady is behind me playing a video game right now. So that's why I'm saying this, because, you know, just so Brady knows where he stands too. Right, Brady? No comment. Why is there no comment from Brady? Because he's wearing his headphones and he can't hear me talking.
I can hear you.
Oh, he can hear me. Oh, crap. Anyhow, moving on here. You know, just painting his face. But as you can tell, I am avoiding certain things like this part of the long fur and the top part too as well. With anywhere where there's long furs, I'm kind of avoiding. And his eyes, we're gonna paint them a different color. We may leave them inset like that because that looks pretty nice with the black and white sun. It'll highlight onto that. Happy accident, didn't plan for that. Oh yeah, I planned for it. That's exactly what it is. But in either case, there we go. And now we're gonna let that dry, and when we come back, we'll be touching upon his long fur will be next. While his paint is drying, again, if you don't have this green brown from Vallejo, but you have some Citadel paint, one option that I think would work for it is if you use Everland Sunset, probably like 3 parts of that to 1 part black or 1 part brown. When I say black, Abaddon black. So you could probably mix it up, or even some shag brown mixed with it, and you'll get close to that color. Just so everybody's aware, I like to give options whenever I can, but again, just a word of caution, I am not a professional miniature painter, and you can just take what I say with a grain of salt, or you can take it as, yeah, I'm going to do this. It is totally up to you. I just know that this is what I have, and I always paint and make things work with what I have. So anyhow, let's move on and continue painting this, because he's almost dry. So we're going to start with the long hair now. Now we're going to apply the color for the base fur, and the colors that we're using for that, it's pretty simple. It's just Abaddon black and flat brown from Vallejo. So Vallejo's flat brown, probably 2 parts of that I would say to 1 part of Abaddon black, and also too as well is probably 2 parts water, just to keep a kind of watery consistency, so this highlighting that we did will end up showing through. But that is optional. You don't really have to go with the highlighting everything. You could prime your miniature in all black and just paint, or all white and paint. It's totally up to you, and you don't have to have it so that it's watered down so the highlight's going to show through. That is a total decision that you can do yourself. So you can see here, I'm just painting away. Painting away. And obviously just a little bit of caution is if when you're painting with paint that is watered down a bit, you don't want to overload your brush to the point that it's going to start running down and ruin the other paint job that you have, because it's not good. Unless that's the look you're going for, then it's great. So just be aware of that. So again, I'm just going to continue painting with this on all of the fur. And when I'm done and it dries, I'll be back and I'll show you what the next step will be that I'm doing. Now that the darker fur, the long fur color is drying, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add some Paladin Witch flesh to the teeth and the eyes. Now, one thing I did too as well is I took the brown and I traced his bottom lip and painted his nose too as well. Again, you can do whatever color you want, no big deal. But that's what I did. So we are going to grab the Paladin Witch flesh now with the smaller brush. And we're going to go in his eyes. I know I said I was going to leave his eyes like it is because I like it, but I'm going to brighten them up just to match the other ones. So very carefully. Just like that. We can fix that mess in a minute, because it is definitely a mess. And his other eye. Just like so. All right, and we're gonna do his teeth too as well. Now you can do his teeth after you paint inside his tongue, if you're gonna be painting his tongue, or you can do his teeth now. It's up to you, but I am going to do it like this now. It's pearly off-white. You can put some blood in there. You can make them all rotted, because he is a hungry wog. Warg. W-A-R-G. Warg. Or warg. 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 Yeah, it's a warg. I call him wog, but it's a warg. So yeah, you can see there. He's painted his teeth. And I'm trying to be as gentle as accurate as possible, and gentle, obviously. Because I would prefer not to screw it up. But it is only paint, and you can paint over it. So just be aware of that. No pressure. Okay, so that's his teeth. But to fix his eyes, I'm not going to cut this. I'm just going to show you right now. I'm just taking his base color for his short skin, which is the green brown, and I'm just going to paint where I kind of screwed up a bit. Just like that, just to fix it. Yeah, right there. And the other one there, that turned out good. Maybe a little bit, because get rid of that eye line part. There. All right, so we'll let that dry. We'll be back, and I think we're going to paint his tongue next. I think. Next, we're going to paint his tongue, and we're going to paint it with Gene Steeler purple. And again, his tongue, it's, you know, hopefully I'm not going to see. I should have painted his tongue first and not his teeth. But hey, you learn from your mistakes. And, you know, I definitely make a lot of mistakes as I go along, but, you know, that's just the way it is. You can see his tongue is painted purple, so I'm just going to fix it up a little bit. You don't want to use a big brush for this, obviously. So that's his purple tongue. And you can go along and you can paint his gums if you're accurate enough. So, like, just where you can see them, like right here, where his teeth are. Just a little tiny bit there. Shabam! Just like that. Rah! Camera's not getting focused. There we go. Rah! All right. Okay. So next step, hola. Now that all the paint is dry, we are going to go and do the wash, and we're going to wash the entire miniature. And what we're doing is 2 parts Agrax Earthshade to 1 part Nuln Oil and 1 part water. When you do this, if you add more shade than water, then it's going to get darker, or more water than shade, it's going to be lighter. And what we're going to do is just go over the entire miniature while it's in focus, I hope. Just like this. So you can make it super dirty, you can make it not so dirty, it's totally up to you. And I am going to go over the eyes with this, but I'm going to avoid the teeth. So again, just washing it. Just like so. This wash step isn't hard to do. And another thing we're going to put the wash on is that gray cork too as well. For the wok. The rock, not the wok. I'm not cooking here. I am painting. So you can, you know, dampen your brush and wipe excess stuff off if you want, but he's going to be a little messier, a little more dirty. So I'm not going to kind of clean it all off. I want to keep it dirty like this. So just like so. I'm liking it. I'm liking it a lot. Remember, in the eyes. So I'm going to leave this dry, and when it's dry, we'll be back and we'll be on to the next step. Now that all of the wash is dry, he is looking tabletop standard, you know, and you could stop here and just paint the miniature black, not the miniature, but the base black or what have you, but we're going to do the Scenic Base. And I've done this in previous tutorials, but we're not going to be using the sand and PVA glue this time. We're actually going to be doing a different method entirely. And you've probably seen this before because I've done it in this actually series for the Lord of the Rings, Journeys in Middle-earth. Yeah. Anyhow, so I'm going to be using the this here. It is the debris, Astro Granite Debris by Citadel. And I'm just going to start plastering it. Plastering, I mean putting it all onto the base. Avoiding the rim, obviously, because the rim is going to be just painted differently. So you just, you know, start dabbing it around like so. Some people have spreaders that they use. Some people, like, there's so many ways of putting this down. But ultimately, in the end, it is up to you. And just to let you know, too, as well, as if you don't have this camo shade, or not the camo shade, geez. If you don't have the Astro Granite Debris, you can make your own by mixing some paint with sand and then just applying it. It's that simple. So again, it's just gently putting it on, pushing it down. I don't want to go on the feet. If it was mud, yeah, no problem. I'd throw some mud onto the feet because they're animals. They're wogs. And they are going to, you know, just, they don't care where they walk. And that's just it. So I'm going to continue applying this just like this. You want to leave this stuff at least a good like 20 minutes to dry, maybe a little bit longer, but once you think it's dry, you can just gently touch it with the brush, and if it's not shifting around or anything, you know that you got it covered. So we'll be back after this is all dry, and then when this is all dry, we'll be on to close to the final steps, and we'll call them done. Once all the wash is completely dry, you can tell up here because there was pulling, even though when I started doing the basing there was a little bit of pulling, but this is all dry. As well as you can see, the texture base is all dry. I like how it is. Now there's only a couple of more simple steps to do, and one is we're going to do dry brushing, and we're going to use our Praxetti White. So I'm just opening it up here and trying to find my dry brush. Dry brush. Dry brush, where did it go? There did it go. There it is. Whoops. And I dropped it on the floor. Clean this off. Okay. So, my dry brush now. So, all we are going to do is we are going to just grab the Praxetti White. And we're going to just dry brush all of the base only. Even the rock. I'm grabbing some on here. Again, just lightly going over it. You can see the deposit, the amount of paint that's being deposited here. Trying to avoid the Wargs feet. Maybe I said the name right now. I don't know. You can see, just adding it just to bring it out a little bit. Need a little bit more or a little less. It's totally up to your discretion. Just like so. It'd be better if I was on camera. There. So I like the way this turned out so far. So since that is done, the next thing we're going to do is we're just going to take some wash and we're going to put it all over the base except for the rocks. For the wash on the base, we're using Agrax Earthshade. You can see here. And it's probably like a 1-to-3 mixture. So 1 part Agrax Earthshade to 3 parts water. Now again, that could vary depending on what you want. If you want it more dirty, you can even use the Nolan oil if you want to, but I didn't want to do that. And like I said, I'm avoiding the cork rocks that I added to the base. So just to give all the nice little texture. And from where we did dry brushing already onto it, the dry brush will definitely still show through because of the watered down consistency of the wash that we're doing. So there you go. Just like that. So when that's dry, we're 2 more steps away for completion. That is the tuft of grass and painting the rim of the base. So when this is all dry, we will be back. Do-do-do-do-do-do. Now that the wash on the base is all dry, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to apply some tufts of grass, and we are using, it's called Gamer's Grass. That's the product that we're using. So you can see it right here. Get it in focus there. Just, you know, peel one off. You can use tweezers for this, which I recommend, but unfortunately I can't find my tweezers for some reason, so I'm just going to do it this way, applying some super glue without hopefully gluing it on my fingers. Just like that. And then I'm going to place it where I wanted it. I kind of dropped them right off. Uh-oh, it wasn't clamped on. So there we go. I'm going to put it right here. Push it in place. Oh, my finger's stuck out. Ah, just joking. So that is the Gamer's Grass. I like the different variations you can get from them. Really cool. So my next thing I'm going to do is going to paint the rim of the base, but I've noticed too as well is I've never painted any of the rims of the other ones here. Now, originally what I would do is I would paint the rims all different colors, but all the miniatures, as you can tell, they are painted different colors, so I'll be able to distinguish which one is which. So we're just going to paint the rims of the base all black. For painting the rims of the base, we're just going to be using Abaddon Black by Citadel. And we're doing it straight at the pot. So you just do this. Pretty easy. Just like that. And this has got to pretty much finish this guy off, I think. Alright, I'll be back after I'm done with that. You don't have to see me painting the rim because there's no technical thing into that. There you have it, Board Game Maniacs. All 3 of the Wargs are finished painted. So, again, the black rim. I really like how these turned out. They are tabletop standard, I think, in my own opinion. And the Tufts of Grass just really brings everything out. Let's see there. I really like them. Now, I'm going to start painting a couple more of these miniatures just to finish off this core set. And I'll see you in the next video. So until then, have fun painting these miniatures, and most importantly of all, and that is, be a maniac. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Pew.
Hope you enjoyed that video. If you want to keep up to date with Board Game Maniacs, click on the like and subscribe button to be notified when more videos come available. If you want to become an official sponsor of Board Game Maniacs, go to patreon.com/BoardGameManiacs. Or you can go to streamlabs.com/BoardGameManiacs1. That's right, and you can donate to help keep the lights on, keep food in our bellies, and play more games. We'll purchase more games, more equipment to make Board Game Maniacs evolve and get bigger and larger. Because of you, the viewers, I thank you from the bottom of my toes to the top of my head for all of your support. And until next time, Board Game Maniacs, be a maniac.